In today's video, I'm going to show you how to set up a Termageddon privacy policy. So to get started, you need to visit the website termageddon.com, termageddon.com. And in the top right corner of your screen, you should see a purple register button. If you do not see a purple register button, chances are you see this 3-line hamburger menu. What you need to do is you need to grab the side of your browser and expand the width of it. So now go ahead and click the purple register button in the top right corner and fill out this form about yourself. I'm going to be putting in a fake email, but make sure to put an email that you have access to because you'll be needing to confirm your email right after you register. And upon registering, this lets you know that an email has been sent to your email inbox. So you want to head over to your email inbox, and you should receive an email from Termageddon titled Confirm Your Termageddon Registration. Open that email, click Confirm Email Address, and you should be automatically logged into your Termageddon account. In the top right corner, click Hello, and in the drop-down, click Account Settings. Within Payment Information, which is on the left-hand side, go ahead and click Payment Information. Click the purple Update button next to the word Payment Information, and you'll get a pop-up to put in your card information. So I'm just loading up my credit card information. And upon clicking Next, you will be brought to your subscription page where you'll need to choose a plan. Most people select the $99 per year price point, as that saves you $20 a year. And usually, an agency will provide you a promo code, which will give you a little bit of a discount off your first year payment. For the sake of this example, I'm going to just pay the $10 per month, and I don't have a promo code. But if you do, make sure you click Apply, and I'm going to make a payment. Awesome. So on this payment information page, you can download your invoice right here at the very bottom right corner and view your subscription information. Now to get started, you need to click Dashboard, and in the purple bar on the right-hand side, click the white Add License button and title your license. So we are doing this setup for a fake company called XYZ Services, and their website is xyzservices.com. And I like to name my licenses by the domain name. That makes my life easy. And you'll keep the next section selected as No Start Fresh, and click Add License. Here, under License Status, you should see the words Continue Setup. Go ahead and click that, and you'll be brought to a set of global questions about your business and your website. So the first question, is this for a website or application? I'm going to select Website, and I'm going to type in xyzservices.com. Who owns it? Well, a company owns it, so I'm going to type in the company name, XYZ Services LLC. And for my fake example, I'm going to say that it's an LLC formed in Illinois. The next question, where would you like to resolve disputes? This is really just whatever's most convenient for you, as this brings people to your turf rather than you having to go to theirs. I'm located in Chicago, so I'm going to put Cook County, Illinois. Now, what is the email that users can use to contact you? I'm going to put info@xyzservices.com. This will be displayed in your website policies as it is required under multiple laws. So make sure you put an email address you're comfortable disclosing within your website policies. Upon clicking Save, I am brought to my dashboard for my license. And what I'm going to do next is I'm going to click Add Policy, and I'm going to start with a privacy policy. I'm going to start with a privacy policy because my website has a contact form that asks for people to submit their name and email, which is enough to qualify someone to need to disclose a privacy policy. So the first page of the privacy policy questionnaire is figuring out what privacy laws you need to comply with. Now for this example, I'm going to say that XYZ Services provides services all over the world, so I'm going to have a very advanced questionnaire. As you answer it, you may have a less advanced questionnaire, and therefore will have less questions on the subsequent pages. But again, because this is an example, I'm going to overdo it rather than underdoing it, just to help customers, answer all questions. So the first question is, what states in the United States do you do business in? And because of this fictitious company doing services all over the U.S., I'm going to select all states. And because I could potentially collect the personal information of anyone in the U.S., I'm just going to select all U.S. states again. Do you have annual gross revenues of more than $25 million? Most of our customers say no. Do you annually buy, receive, sell, or share the personal information of 50,000 or more California consumers, households, or devices? Most of our customers say no. Do you derive 50% or more of your annual revenue from selling the personal information of California consumers? Most people say no. Do your vendors or clients require you to comply with the California Consumer Privacy Act? Most companies are no to this one as well. Now, do you offer goods or services to residents of the European Union? I'm going to say yes. And do you monitor the behavior of residents of the European Union? I'm going to say yes because I have Google Analytics installed and I may be tracking them. Do you offer goods or services to residents of the United Kingdom? I'm going to say yes. And do you monitor the behavior of residents of the United Kingdom? I'm going to say yes again because of Google Analytics tracking them potentially. And if you don't know if you have Google Analytics installed in your website, you can simply ask your web developer. Most websites do have Google Analytics installed because it's free and very popular. And you just need to disclose a handful of items when using Google Analytics. Now, last question on the first page is, do you collect the personal information of Canadians? I'm going to say yes. And I'm going to click next. So now I'm brought to page 2, which is all about figuring out the types of personal information your website collects and what you do with it. And I'm going to have a very advanced version of this because of how many privacy laws I need to comply with. You may have less items to answer on the right-hand side. That just depends on what privacy laws you need to comply with. Now, let's start off by identifying all the pieces of personal information the website collects. Most websites have a contact form asking people to submit their name and email. So I'm going to have name selected, and I'm also going to select email. This fictitious website has a newsletter sign-up form asking people to put in their email address. So since I have email already selected, I don't need to reselect it. And since the website uses Google Analytics, I'm going to select that we may collect IP address, and I'm going to scroll down almost all the way to the bottom and select that we may also collect information regarding your interactions with our website. And because we currently or may in the near future run search engine or social media ads, I'm just going to add that in now, saying that we may collect information regarding your interactions with our advertisements, just to have it in there in preparation. So what we've selected here is typically the most common. It is the most common way we see people fill out this questionnaire. And for name, we are now going to identify why do we collect name. So I click this edit button and I expand the first question. What is the purpose for why we collect name? Well, I have people submit their name on a contact form, so my goal there is to perform services and provide customer service. I also technically could collect name to send marketing newsletters to people. I may ask them to participate in surveys or contests. And if someone's misbehaving, I may have to enforce our terms of service and address them by name. So therefore, that would be a purpose for why you collect name. And I may collect name to verify customer information, meaning, perhaps a customer fills out a contact form on my website. I may want to use that name to address them. So therefore, I'd be verifying that customer and verifying customer information. Okay. Now, what is the source of how I collect name? Well, this is information submitted by the consumer, meaning that I would not be collecting name unless someone took the time to fill out their name and submit it to me. What's the legal basis under which I process the information? Well, the users provided consent to the processing of their information because they submitted their name to me. Now, when a form gets submitted, do we share that data with third parties? Most likely yes, because usually when a form gets submitted through a website, that triggers an email which is sent to your email inbox. So I'm going to select that we may share this data with email service providers. This ensures that when when a form gets submitted on your website, it triggers an email that gets sent to your email inbox. Technically, you're sharing data with email service providers, and that's why I like selecting it. Now, most websites are built on WordPress these days. WordPress is a content management system, and very often, the majority of the time, contact forms, when installed into WordPress or other similar content management systems, a backup gets stored of the form submissions details. So I do want to say that I may potentially share this data with content management systems to manage our interactions with the lead. And then I may want to also say that third parties who can access the website may be able to access this contact information as well. So I'm going to say that we may potentially share this data with parties that need to operate the website. This is really good if you have like a web designer or a freelancer that's helping you with your website. I also like to select we may share this data with hosting providers, because technically if there was like a issue you had with your website and you had your hosting provider log into your back end of your website, they may have access to that contact information as well. So I like to load it up. I like to also select that we may share this data with hosting providers. And then last but not least, I'm going to select email marketing vendors, because in my fictitious website, I'm using a third-party email marketing service. So when someone submits a form, I may add them to my email marketing, and I may add their name to it. So I'm going to select that we may share this data with email marketing vendors. And those are the most common answers we see people fill out. Sometimes people have customer management systems, otherwise known as CRMs, where you can select that you share this data with customer management systems. But for this example, I'm going to not say that. Okay, I'm going to minimize that drop down, and I'm going to click complete this piece of information. And as you'll see on the left-hand side, I'm dragged to the next unanswered question. But I'm actually going to skip that one and go to email address. And the reason why is because most people are collecting name the same exact reasons why they're collecting email address. So I'm going to load up all the answers we did for name, which loads up all of our answers, just helping save some time. So I'm going to complete that piece of information, and I'm brought to the next question. Why do we collect IP address? And for this one, I'm going to load up all my answers for name, but then I'm going to go back to selecting it as none, because I want to add additional items to this question. Because people collect IP address whenever a contact form is submitted. Most of the time that contact form is also collecting IP address. So technically you're collecting IP address to provide services and support, but you're also doing it to protect against malicious, deceptive, fraudulent, or illegal activity. And that's why most contact forms ask or collect IP behind the scenes. And because we have Google Analytics installed, we will want to say that we collect IP address for the purposes of analytics. And because we may or currently run social media and search engine advertisements, I'm going to say we potentially collect IP address to count ad impressions and verify position and quality of ad impressions. So this is most commonly what we see for when people collect IP address through a website. And you can minimize that and expand the next section. Now, what is the source for how you collect IP address? Well, this is not information submitted by the consumer. No one takes the time to submit their IP address on a contact form. No, it's collected behind the scenes through tracking pixels and the observation and use of cookies. What's the legal basis under which you process the information? The users provided consent to the processing of their information. Do you share this data with third parties? In addition to all these items we selected for name, I'm also going to select we may share IP address with advertising networks to provide people with advertisements, and social networks to provide people with advertisements. And then I'm also going to scroll up and select data analytics providers to analyze your interactions with us on our website. And that's how I see most people fill out the IP section. So you can minimize that, complete this piece of information, and you'll be brought down to why do you collect information regarding your interactions with the website. Most people load up all the answers to IP address. Upon completing it, why do you collect information regarding your interactions with advertisements? Most people load up all the answers to IP address. So upon completing that piece of information, you can click Next, and you're brought into the final stage of the questionnaire, which are questions specific to individual privacy laws you need to comply with. So the first question is, do you collect and use cookies? I answered yes to this question, and we do give a notice based on all the privacy laws I'm seeking to comply with. I should add a cookie consent pop-up to my website. There are some links to some free ones here. And there's also many free ones in like WordPress directories and stuff like that. So go ahead and ask your web developer or web designer what they recommend for a cookie consent pop-up. And I'm sure they can help guide you along the getting one implemented. Now, if you don't see this pop-up, that means you don't need it. So just some 2 cents there. Do you knowingly target children under the age of 18? No, most websites are not knowingly targeting children. Do you sell any information you collected? No. How long do you store the information provided? Most people select until something happens and types in until we no longer need the information to contact you or after you unsubscribe from emails. Now, do you use the information for direct marketing? We'll say yes to this. And do you use the information you collected for automated decision making? We're going to say no to this. This is, and just so you know, there's question marks next to all these questions. So you can always click on this and read more as to why we're asking the question. And just to go back to this, do you use the information for direct marketing? We said yes to this because we do send email newsletters or plan to send email newsletters to people. Do you use the information you collect for profiling? No, most companies are not profiling people. How do you protect the personal information you collect? I'm going to select the most popular answers here. This is the one question where I like to under-promise and over-deliver because the items that you select here will be displayed within your privacy policy on how you protect the personal information that you collect. So I would not want to select something that I may do in the future. No, I want to select what I absolutely know I do. And the 3 items I've selected are very common. Limiting the amount of personal information that you collect to strictly necessarily only, using an SSL certificate, and maintaining up-to-date software and safeguards. Would you like to include links to your policies, procedures, standards, or codes in your privacy policy? Most people answer no. Do you use Google Analytics? We confirm yes, we do. Does your website contain links to third-party sites? We're going to say yes. Social media links are a great example. Does the website respond to do not track signals? Most people say no because they've never heard of do not track signals, which means that you've never implemented do not track signals. Now, the next 3 questions are all based around a fundamental theme, which is, do you want to offer privacy rights to people that actually have those rights or to anyone that visits your website regardless of the location? And if I so may, I recommend giving everyone the same rights. And I recommend this because, well, it does two things for your business. Number one, it sends a message within your privacy policy that you're treating people equally, and treating people equally is a good business strategy. Number two, it actually makes your life easier as a business owner, because if someone were to want to inquire to exercise their rights, you don't have to figure out what part of the world they're from. Rather, you can just be a good person and delete their data if they request you to delete their data and so forth. So I like giving everyone the same rights for those two, or I like giving everyone equal rights for those two reasons. Now, what information would the consumer need to provide to verify their identity for requests to exercise their rights? Most people say name and email. If you can provide your name and email and verify it, that's enough to say you are who you say you are. How will you notify users of changes to this privacy policy? I'd go with our most popular answer, which is by posting the updated privacy policy to this website. Who should the user contact to request access to, amendments to, or deletion of their data? I'm going to put the info at email I created. Where do you process the data? I'm going to type in Illinois because that's where I'm located. Have you employed a data protection officer? I'm going to say no. Do you intend to transfer data outside of Canada? I'm going to say yes to the United States. And what I mean by this is that if someone in Canada were to inquire on my website through my contact form, technically I'm taking data from Canada and bringing it into the United States. Now, who's accountable for your privacy practices and policies? Usually this is the president or the website owner. It's really up to you to decide who within your company will be listed here. What I can tell you is this is a requirement under Canada's privacy law, PIPEDA. All right, and upon clicking submit, your embed code has been generated, and this code is what you need to get over to your web developer. And the most common way people do that is, well, you can first off click the advanced button and like left align and hyperlink and style it however you want and copy it and send it in an email to your developer. However, most people actually just click the users tab and they share the license with the developer's email, whatever it may be. And then upon clicking share, they will receive an email letting them know that the license has been shared with them and that they can grab the embed codes and add it to your website. And that's it. I will note that you can go to the policy section and add more policies. A terms of service can help limit the liability of a business owner by stating clear rules to using the website. And EULA is not really popular. We really underestimated or overestimated how much this would be used. This is more so if you're like licensing software or that people are reselling to others and may have other users. It's most likely not applicable if you just simply have a website. We also offer disclaimers. Disclaimers are valuable if you offer affiliate links, provide information that could be seen as legal advice or health or fitness tips, or you sell any health products through your website. Or if you offer advertisements through your website, perhaps on the, if someone's paying you for ads to put on your blog or something like that. Again, not that common, but we do offer a disclaimer, which is included in your license too. So. All right, well, that is the setup for Termageddon's privacy policy and the process to share the license with your client or with your web developer. And yeah, hope that helped. Thank you for your business, and please reach out if you do have any questions. My email is Hans, Hans, @termageddon.com. Thank you very much.